and welcome to the DC Stewart Show Podcast. I'm your host, Derek Stewart, and it is Friday. It is a Friday morning here in Los Angeles, and it's after midday in Miami and in the beautiful state of Florida. Look, folks, we're so happy to be here. I got my kinfolk back with me. We got Najee back. I don't know what to say. I'm just at a loss for words to have this brother back because he means so much to this show. And we missed him because he was away busy, but he's back with us, and we're pretty happy. We're pretty ecstatic to be here on a Friday to talk about topics with you, and we're going to have an open discussion. We want your engagement. We want your involvement. We're currently live on YouTube. We're currently live on Facebook, and we're currently live on Twitch TV, and we're having a time of our life over at Twitch TV. Go over there and follow us because we're growing, and I'm telling you, we're going to be blowing the roof off of that real soon. And we're getting a lot of feedback over at Twitch as well. I hope you, the viewer, are doing really good on a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. They used to have a song back in the 70s called Thank God It's Friday. I can't sing, though, but, you know. And Friday just got paid. You remember Johnny Kemp? Johnny Kemp was the man. Friday, you just got paid. And that means everybody's getting their money today. They're getting their bag today, right?
Papa got a brand new
bag. And you know what? Isaiah's wearing all green, so he definitely got his bag intact. I mean, he's got the green brim on. He's got the green shirt. And he's a handsome brother, too. I can't say enough about how handsome he is. You know what I'm saying?
That's without saying.
Without saying. And I got my guy Najee here. He looking all world, casual, and it just don't get no better for sure. So let me just say, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We're just blowing it out of the park. We're hitting home runs right now. We got over 200,000 views on our different videos, and watch our long form videos. Our long form videos, take a few minutes of your time out extra. Watch our long form videos because that context from those shorts you see on YouTube is really engaging from the perspective that you'll be able to see how things kind of come along when we're talking about certain topics and certain comments and stuff like that. We appreciate your comments. You agree, disagree, indifferent, whatever the case may be. So let me introduce you to my first kin folks, Mr. Green, the man with the bag, the old world Isaah. What the hell is going on, Isaah? I'm so happy to see you on a Friday, brother.
Yeah, mention color green because when you mention green, that means the guy who's soft, he don't know what he's talking about.
Mr. Green Jeans? You remember Mr. Green Jeans?
Yeah, I remember Mr. Green Jeans. We grew up on that.
We grew up on Mr.
Yep. Every kid had to know who Mr. Green Jean was, man.
And if you didn't, you were in a world of trouble. Yeah. Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on your Friday.
Hey, man, listen, it's beautiful outside. It was scorching yesterday, then it did a little raining. This morning it poured down, but now it's nice outside. But listen, I'm preparing for a beautiful weekend this weekend of sports, man. You know, my Dolphins are out there on the field. My Kings are out there on the field, and it's looking really good for both teams. I'm going out there to see the coach next week. Cristobal, he's inviting people to come out there and meet and greet.
He's on campus, right? At the campus store, giving away gear so you can get your gear over there from Coach Cristobal.
Yeah, and if you want to meet me, I'll be in the house.
Absolutely. And you know what? Yeah. I want Coach Cristobal on the show, man. We got to get him on the show. Just at least, Coach Cristobal, give us at least 15 to 30 minutes of your time, if you can carve that out. I know you're really busy, but we definitely want you onto the show at some point in time.
Yeah, we'll get him on. I'll go out there and meet him next week, and I'll urge him to get on the show where we could talk about his new team and the new coaches that's there too. And man, you got a new quarterback and all that stuff, man. There's a lot of new stuff going on, boy. listen, but they
That
got
is so
a
true.
down, man. They got a big thing going on. So I'm excited to see the season kick off. They're ranked number 10 according to the coaches polls yesterday. So we'll see how that panned out.
That's a pretty
Yeah,
high
we'll
ranking to
see.
put them up in top 10. I think it's very
They
good
got a little
for the
something.
program.
They got a little something, man. You know, they missed it by an inch last year, so this year they should improve. The quarterback situation has changed, but this quarterback, Carson Beck, has got a lot of experience, so they should finish where they left off last year, in my opinion.
And you know the good thing I like about Carson Beck? He's got Shannon Dawson. I mean, I'm not throwing any shade at Georgia's offensive coordinator, but I just think Shannon Dawson is going to be very creative with what Carson Beck is going to be doing during the regular season. So stay tuned for that one for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I just hope these guys stay healthy this year, man. When you have no injuries, these guys been working those tour days for all the summer months, and now somebody go down. I just pray that these guys stay healthy because that's when you can really see what kind of team that you can have when everybody is at full throttle, when nobody's injured, everybody's healthy and playing, and strength, because their strength and conditioning has improved a great deal too. Because remember, back in the day, they had this enormous strength and conditioning coach, and he had a history of good players that was coming in back to back who bought into his philosophy of getting those necks strong and those shoulders strong and those quads and his calf muscles, and he was really into fitness and strength, and that's what ultimately win these championships, because boy, all of this stuff happened in the trenches. And on that line of scrimmage is where it's all going down with these big old husky dogs in the middle battling out. And that's what he was good at. He was good at getting these guys prepared for these games. And so, and they don't have to be that big. You just got to have great technique and some strength to go with it. And you can freaking move a guy if you want to.
Exactly. Absolutely. So, Najee, kinfolk Najee, tell me about your week. Tell me a little bit about your day. You're a handsome guy, so what can I say, man? You gotta give us what you got.
Yeah, so besides, I had my own adult errands I had to do for the week. I mean, it was a busy work week for me. Now I finally get the weekend off to myself, so I don't have to worry about that until Monday. But as I said, it was pretty hot, pretty much this whole week too, and it started raining around 2-3 o'clock in the morning. So I said, oh boy, they already said it's going to be like a wet weekend. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do something outside without ruining your plans or whatever. But at least I'm able to get away from work and relax a little bit.
Exactly. That's all well and good. Tell you a little bit about my week. I had a really solid week this week. Got a lot of things done. My focus, I'm laser focused on making this show better. And I know my kinfolk, Isaah and Najee, we're all zeroed and laser focused on bringing the best that we can bring to you through Annie Brown, because Annie Brown is the one just creating all of these really interesting topics that we be talking about. So we're going to continue to stay laser focused on this show to make sure that, because I believe firmly, and I'm pretty sure my kinfolk believe, we got the best show on the internet right now. A lot of people don't know that because we're not exposed as much as some of these other shows, some of these other famous shows like Nightcap. I mean, you look at Nightcap, for example. These are two ex-NFL gold jacket players, and I know Shay is. And for their popularity and people who know who they are, it's easy for them to galvanize a bigger following because people know who they are, but they are learning who we are, and we're coming in and we're kicking in the door. We ain't taking no shorts. We kicking it all the way in. See how they used to do on them police movies back in the 70s where they kick that door and it flop right open? That's the way we do it. And we gonna do a no knock. We doing a no knock when we kick it in the door. We just gonna kick it in, and you gonna be like, "Gee whiz, what's up?" Right?
Yeah.
So beyond that, I enjoyed my birthday yesterday. Me and my wife We had a really, really nice dinner last night. We didn't go to no fancy restaurant. We didn't go out and spend $400, because I like to get my drink on when I go out. So that's where all of the costs usually come in, is through the alcohol. The food is just, that's a side dish for the restaurant. They make their money off of alcohol. And we usually buy a bottle of wine. We don't buy one glass because it's cheaper to buy the whole bottle. That way, you have about 4, sittings of the wine rather than paying $12 per glass. We just pay for a whole bottle. So we celebrated last night. I'm so happy to be alive. I'm so happy to be healthy. I'm so happy my family is healthy. And we had a really nice time. I'm 1 year older, 1 year wiser. And this is kind of how we doing it, One thing I do want to share with everybody, I want to send a shout out to Dwayne Torres. Dwayne Torres is near and dear to my heart. Dwayne Torres is a young man who lives in Miami, and he was injured while trimming a tree in Miami, and he was electrocuted. And he technically wasn't given any chance to survive. I mean, literally, Jackson Ryder Trauma Center, which is one of the best trauma centers in the country, not just Florida, not just Miami. The Jackson Memorial Hospital Ryder Trauma Center is the best trauma center in the country, in my opinion. Dwayne stayed in that hospital for years recovering because they didn't give him much of a chance, but that fight inside of him didn't give up. And I just take my hat off to this brother, man. And I cannot wait to get back to Miami where I can look Dwayne up and we go out and we go eat. Me, the Kim folk, and Dwayne gonna get together and we gonna sit down and we gonna chat because I'm so happy he's still around. So he's an inspirational part to me of this show. So I just wanted to get that out there for sure. So where the party at?
Right here.
It's right here.
Week.
It's right here. It's right. It's
Get your groove on right here. All entertainment, baby.
Baby. Annie Brown is getting ready to deliver. The party is here. So let's get this first topic out here and let's talk a little bit about, we'll start out with NFL today, and we're going to start out with the Indianapolis Colts quarterback, Anthony Richardson. Tip-top athlete. Come out of University of Florida. He's an athletic specimen, but unfortunately for him, he entered the NFL ranks and his injuries has impacted him to a point where he was injured in a game, and I believe it was against the Ravens last night when Indianapolis in a preseason game, and he severely dislocated a finger last night. So this is just technically another setback for Anthony Richardson, but let's just say this. I just think he's going to rebound, and I think he's still going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. And he's just going to have to stay strong and just believe that he could play at that level and not give up thinking that, look, I've been injured for the last several years. I've had different nagging injuries. That's the NFL. I mean, it's a barbaric game. I mean, it's a game where you have two human beings colliding with each other at sometimes 20 miles an hour, sometimes 15 miles an hour. It all depends on the velocity. It all depends on the person's weight. It all depends on the person's trajectory. And I'm entering all these terms in because I have been to football games live and I've watched them crash into each other. I was just looking at a highlight yesterday from Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry he's a load. I mean, he's an 18-wheeler truck running through them holes. And Derrick Henry broke into the middle of the field, and he didn't see this defender coming. And listen, he got leveled. That was one of the biggest hits I've seen on Derrick Henry. Actually, it was the only biggest hit I've ever seen Derrick Henry take. So I'm going to ask Isaah about Anthony Richardson. He's had a timeline. Since being drafted, he's had shoulder, hip, back, foot injuries, concussion history, and just this thumb. I mean, or should I say his finger being severely dislocated. And I don't know whether people know, but to have a dislocated finger is excruciating pain. They said the finger was bent back in a position where it just didn't look normal at all. So Isaah, tell us a little bit about injuries in the NFL, how quarterbacks and running backs tend to sustain most of them because they're taking the ball a majority of the time, right? So tell us a little bit about that, because I know Anthony Richardson, he's got the size to play at that level, and he's got the speed and all of that. It's just things have just happened to him, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, but that's the nature of the game. This game is a brutal game, and is a game where it's a man upon man, and if you're a wuss, this ain't for you. But that can happen any play. I've seen quarterbacks grab back and throw the ball and hit their hand on somebody's helmet and break their finger or their wrist or their hand or whatever the case may be, and dislocate something, and they can be out for many, many weeks because of it. So his main thing is, especially, I've seen portions of a DC, but I don't even know if that's his throwing hand. If it's not his throwing hand, he'll be fine. But if it's his throwing hand, he better get ready for rehab. Get ready for rehab. And they got several different exercises that they can get that finger back intact pretty rapidly if he go in there and do exactly what he's told, and he's icing it. I mean, if he didn't have to have any operations on it where they have to go in there and repair the bone and stitch it up and all this type of stuff, they just got to snap it back in place and keep it, wrapped. He should be back, in a week or two or three. But if there's stitches in it and you have to go in there and mend muscles back together, it may take a little bit longer. But sometimes hands could be a nagging thing. There's a lot of doctors are making tons of money off of that wrist and that hand combination because you got to get that thing rehab because arthritis is set in it. And if arthritis set in it, man, you're going to be in a lifetime pain. That stuff goes with the weather, too. When the weather changes, your hand could be a nagging situation for you. So I think he need to just relax. He's going to be okay. He made the team and everything. So just get the rehab done, and he should be fine. And I'm eager to see him push out this season.
You and me both. With his elite athleticism, he's an athletic specimen. He's 6'4", 245 pounds. That is by no imagination of any stretch that a quarterback that big can play at that level. Because usually a lot of quarterbacks you see, they're extremely on the skinny side or they're on the short side, like Russell Wilson. He's always been undersized in terms of his height. He's grown above that. He's risen above the fact
his size is
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Absolutely. So Najee, let me ask you this. The question is this: do you think a lot of these NFL players, you think they think about the possibility of being hurt rather than just going out there and just throwing it all out there at the same time? Like going out there playing with a reckless abandon, like a lot of players you see that played with reckless abandon, they literally never get injured, right?
It depends on the athlete who you're talking about, because if it's Patrick Mahomes do a lot of stuff that freaking it challenges his longevity of the career every play. Just like with the last Super Bowl he played, not the Eagles, but he made a lot of plays that he could have got his head taken off. But then you got people like Tua, or you have somebody like Andrew Luck, even though he's out, that they will do plays and they will always get hurt. So if they always get hurt, you can tell that they already in the mind, in the back of their head, should I make this move? Because you can see it in their run. Like if they're not completely determined to make their move, you can see they're thinking as they're moving. That's how you end up also getting hurt, because now you're not 100% sold on whatever move you're gonna make.
There's defensive players.
They are savages. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember a play, and I don't know whether you guys remember this game when Baltimore was playing Pittsburgh, and this was probably back 10 years ago. Joey Porter and all those guys was at Pittsburgh at that time, and those guys used to get into it in the pregame warmups. They literally tell each other, especially Ray Lewis, T. Sizzle, Ed Reed, and all of those. Them guys were warriors on that Ravens defense. But on the flip side of that, you had James Ferrier on Pittsburgh's defense. You had Joey Porter, and they had some dogs as well. And I remember that game. Rashard Mendenhall was a running back out of Illinois. and super good running back out of Illinois at that time. And Ray Lewis literally told Mendenhall, I'm going to end your game this game. I'm going to get you out of this game. And he told him that, and I saw Ray Lewis pointing at him. And sure enough, in that game, because that was a brutal game, man. That was one of the most brutal games. Willis McGahee, he got hurt because he was a running back for the Ravens at the time. And Pittsburgh was able to put him out. And then once Rashard Mendenhall took a handoff and went into the pile, bam, he come out holding his shoulder, literally bent over because he had a separated shoulder just that quick. And I'm wondering to myself whether he was thinking about that in the back of his head, what Ray Lewis and all them, defenders had told him on that Baltimore defense that, look, we're going to get you. It's kind of like that bully in school. I used to have a bully in the school. And I'm going to tell you a quick story before we move on. I used to go to Earlyton Heights Elementary, and we had a bully, and his name was Ricky Green. And Ricky Green was one of the best fighters I ever seen for an elementary school kid, of course. And for some reason, Ricky Green took a disliking to me. I don't know why. I didn't do anything to him. But long story short, he told me, he said, DC, I'm going to get you. So just be ready after school because I'm going to get you. And you talking about, my heart literally dropped into my lap because I was so afraid to go home thinking this guy was going to beat me down. And guess what? Guess who came to the rescue? Isaah's brother. Isaah's brother came to the rescue because Isaah's brother was a better fighter than Ricky Green. And Isaah's brother, I was walking with his brother one time, and Ricky walked up to me, and Ricky told me, he says, I got a problem with you, DC. And Isaah's brother say, you know what? I got a problem with you, Ricky. What's up? And sure enough, he backed down, and he never threatened me again. So that timidness, and you get afraid thinking that bully may get you, and they'll get you legitimately on a defense. I mean, depending on what type of defense you're facing off with, right? So I'm just praying that Anthony Richardson can have a better, once he recovers from this, I'm holding out prayer for this brother that he can, proceed and continue on with his NFL career and not sustain any more injuries that's going to take time away from him, because his time is similar to Tua's to me. I mean, Tua has been out with a concussion problem, on and off for years.
Every
year he gets a concussion. And I think that first concussion that he really sustained was against the Buffalo Bills, when Rich Milano, the linebacker for the Bills, shoved him and he fell backwards and he fell right on the back of his head. And when he fell on the back of his head, he jumped up and he was punch drunk, literally, when he got up. He went down, he was woozy, and they had to get him off the field because he didn't want to leave the field because, Tua's a warrior too. I'm not going to take that from him. He don't want to come out of those games.
He was trying to get in his own way.
He was trying to get in his own way. So, and he's a little bit undersized. I know he's putting on some weight and stuff since he's been in the NFL, but when he was with Alabama, to me, he was undersized in terms of his size to be able to sustain a 16-game season in the NFL, So these injuries are critical, It's critical to a team's success. It's critical to the player and his future and his family. And guess what? At the end of the day, we just all want to watch these guys play football. We don't want to watch them standing on the sideline in civilian clothes watching a football game. We will push on. Annie Brown's got another good topic for us, and she wanted me to bring up DeAnthony Fox. She wanted me to bring him up because he just signed a massive, or should I say De'Aaron Fox? I correct that. My apologies. De'Aaron Fox for the San Antonio Spurs just locked up one of the richest Supermax contracts in the NBA history, as far as I'm concerned. $229 million Supermax deal for 4 years. So if you're a mathematician, do the math. $29 million guaranteed money, because in the NBA, they guarantee every single cent down to the penny of your money. You're going to get your money whether he may not even be playing in a year or two, but he still is going to get his money. Because the NBA is a league that you get guaranteed money, just like Major League Baseball. I want Najee to dive into this, break it down. It looks like he'll be getting $57 million a year broke down on an average. So Najee, is De'Aaron Fox worthy and worth this kind of contract?
I mean, the way how the contracts are playing out now, you can't really even say if somebody's actually worth the money or not because everybody's getting paid. Everybody's getting paid. They were just showing a statistic just now that the contract that Shea Alexander signed just this off season is more than what the entire team got paid for the Spurs. I'm talking about for the 2013-2014 season. I'm talking about the entire team, not just one player. The contract he signed was more than what that team got paid altogether. So now, I mean, you can't really say, they're not worth the money because guess what? Everybody's at this point getting paid. Everybody. It's not like it's just because of anything. Fox been out for a minute. This is maybe 7-8 season. So he's not a rookie. He's not new. He's been with Sacramento Kings until just last season. He's a really good player. He's one of the fastest players in the league, and he got a deadly mid range. Serious. Every time he played against the Lakers, he tried to torture him. You know why? Because he was pissed off that Lonzo Ball got drafted before him. I guess so. I'm guessing that he wanted to go to the Lakers, and when they picked Lonzo Ball, every time that he played the Lakers, he tried to make sure that he demolished him.
So Isaiah, tell me this about De'Aaron Fox. $57 million is a lot of money. I mean, and Najee just broke it down to us in a simplistic form. Will De'Aaron Fox be able to help San Antonio get back to somewhat of the glory days that they used to be at when Pop was coaching them and all that good stuff? Because they got Wemby and several other good players. What do you think the Spurs are going to be able to do with De'Aaron Fox being on that roster?
Well, it remains to be seen. When you can get at least three, you got to have three. You can't win anything without at least having three really dominant players in the NBA right now. You got to have three. You ain't going to do it with two anymore. You need three good players, and then the other two can just fill in and be okay. But the three has to be able to carry that load. Now, if you can get three of his players to gel with him, they're going to go somewhere. But if they don't have that cohesiveness where those three players are feeding off each other and they're not gelling and they're not buying into the coach's philosophy, they're going to be just an average team that's going to get there and have, a decent season, but not go anywhere beyond that. But I think that, when you play a player like that, you hoping to go further because you shooting out that kind of money. That means you trying to go further than just the average season of having a decent season, man. You trying to go beyond the playoffs. So that's the way I look at it.
He's supposed to be, and he's not even supposed to be the best player in the team that's making that type of money. Because Wemby's that's supposed to be his team. He's at best, second best on that team. And then on top of it, both of them, they're both coming in from last season off blood clots. Both of them had blood clots last year. And then on top of it, now they got a new coach. Because you remember, Pop had to step down because he got sick. So now it's a whole bunch of stuff going on for them. So they just hoping to lock him in right now. But they got a lot going on for next year. Because like I said, both of them had blood clots last year, and they got a new coach. And I'm pretty sure, they had to mix up the roster a little bit because now they lost Chris Paul. Chris Paul went back to LA to the Clippers.
Correct.
So now, so it's up in the air.
There's a huge numbers of NBA players that getting blood clots. I wonder what's coming about for this to be happening.
Especially two on the same team.
Diets, and they're young, man. You know what they're giving these players in terms of their nutrition and the doctors that they're using. I mean, it's been really, after I started paying attention to it, deeply when Bosch had blood clots. And all of a sudden, a trend. Yeah, back-to-back years, man. And this is a severe thing because you could be running down a court and collapse because of
collapse.
And that's the reason why they, wanted Bosch to just go ahead and retire so he could just, take control of his health because this is a situation where it's severe. It ain't just something where you just had a heart murmur, and the heart murmur is a little small hole in your heart, and it'll close up eventually, and most of the time it does. But with this blood clot, man, it can hit your heart and kill you.
Yeah,
You
it could
die right on the
actually
spot.
kill you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And what makes it worse about Bosch? When Bosch had the first time, all right, he had to sit out. Cool. Then he came
Mhm.
back. And of course, you would think that, okay, whatever I did to get it the first time, I'm gonna avoid it. He was even on a commercial to prevent it because he was taking some type of supplement. And guess what? He caught it again. I was like, bro, me personally, I don't think I seen that commercial no more after that. After he caught blood clots again, they didn't show that commercial no more. No more. So
It was a
I don't know,
pharmaceutical
maybe
company commercial. Was it like a pharmaceutical company or something?
Just like any commercial, just any commercial you see when they push out a new medicine and then they give you 17 side effects or whatever. So it was just one of those. They used to do it every timeout for the Heat. Every time they had a timeout, they would show his commercial.
Right.
And then after he announced that he had it again, I didn't see that commercial not one more time after that.
And if it don't work, it don't work. There's nothing you can do about that.
I remember when Karl Malone started to go bald from having an afro, and he was out there with that Rogaine, pushing that Rogaine, and that Joker hair started to recede further on. Next thing you know, the Rogaine commercial started playing, and now his damn head as clean as the basketball that's going down.
It's polished too. You see how he polishes his head? It's super polished. But one thing is for sure, I could tell you, Karl Malone was a bulldozer, man, when he played, especially his first 5 years in the league. Man, he was kind of another one of them players like Shaq to me. You got in his way. If you tried to take a charge, man, you were putting your life at risk taking a charge from Karl Malone. Back in
he had a really deadly mid range, which was crazy. Normally people that strong, they really can't shoot the ball consistent.
That's true.
Big bully on the court, man, but he ran into Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, and they put him in his place.
They put that thing on him. Jordan, they had an answer for him. That's all that was. Him and Stockton and Thurl Bailey and all those guys that played for Utah, they had an answer for those guys back then.
That's when something is not meant for you. So just like you said, he had back-to-back years that he lost to Jordan, right? You know he went 3 times, right? You know he went 3 times. Do you know the third time he went?
No.
What's the third time he went?
I can't remember.
The Lakers in 2004 when he was with the Lakers with him and Gary Payton.
Yeah, you're right.
Went to 2004. And guess what? He was the one that got hurt that series, so he couldn't give them what he gave them the whole season.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Wallace took complete advantage of that.
I remember it too.
He had 3 chances. 3 chances. Then he had Stockton. Okay, we're gonna try to the game. We lost to Jordan. But guess what? We had Shaq and Kobe, and I still couldn't help them at the end because I got hurt.
Yeah, and one of the most game-changing moments, and I think with that series against the Bulls, is they just sucked they just turned loose the worm on Karl Malone, Dennis Rodman. They turned loose the worm, and see the worm was able to get him out of his game sometimes. Because the worm was gouging and kicking and doing all kind of stuff, trying to snatch his pants down on the court. I think Isaah was the one to mention that, right?
Irritating. Yeah, irritating.
He's the guy who's going to freaking take you totally out of your game because he's going to fill on your butt. He's going to grab you by the back of the head. He's going to do everything to intimidate you, to get you,
get you out of your game. All they trying to do is get you out of your game.
Expert at that. He was an expert.
And the worm was one of the best in the business at that. He grabbed everybody. I mean, he literally went around the league doing that.
Sat him and all. Yeah. But the crazy thing is, if it was one athlete, I don't know if it was right after I got out of high school, it was right when I was in, at the end of my high school years, when they was talking about Dennis Rodman, and they was saying the type of antics he does. You do know, okay, when you're running throughout the game and then you take a breather, what's the first thing anybody gonna do? Put their hands on their knees and kind of, slouch over a little bit, right? To get some air. No. He said Dennis Rodman walked right past him and farted. Well, you know how disrespectful that is?
That's one of the most deadliest things he had in his toolbox.
And when you're trying to get air, you're gasping and he just got a whole bunch of funk right in his throat. Bro,
Unavoidable.
Unavoidable.
Yeah.
You had to have smelling salt when he walked past you almost to wake you back up.
They ain't purposely didn't wet deodorant either.
I'd have been sitting on the bench, I'd have tagged and be in the chest. I would have punched him in the chest.
Oh, yeah. So since we're on the conversation and the topic of contracts, Najee, let me ask you about Luka. Luka's new contract. His extension is for $165 million in 3 years. So that to me is kind of a game changer, similar to De'Aaron Fox, although the numbers are completely different. But if you look at $165 million in 3 years, you divide that 3 times, that's a lot of money. And Luka deserves every penny of it, just like De'Aaron Fox did. Do you think Luka and LeBron is going to be able to pair up and they're going to be able to put a team on the floor that can get them to the playoffs and to the finals this coming year? Because I'm going to just tell you, Mark Walter, the new owner, he's not going to settle for anything less. He's already winning World Series titles with the Dodgers, and all he wants is results. And I'm pretty sure, like we talked about in our past shows, he's just going to unleash Magic and let Magic run that organization technically now, since Jeannie Buss is out of the way. Because Magic couldn't do it before because, you know, they had snitches inside that everything he said went right back to Jeannie Buss. You know, so tell me a little bit about what you think about Luka's contract.
Well, obviously they're already showing that they went younger. Anthony Davis is younger than LeBron. I mean, it's Anthony than LeBron. But guess what? Luka's also younger than Anthony Davis, and he's also a dog. So they're putting all their eggs into Luka right now. He's only 26, so he has a lot. Depending on how long he want to play, he has a lot of basketball to play. So they went in the direction of Luka. LeBron, from what they're saying, a lot of people saying rumor wise that this might be his last year, and he's probably gonna, because everybody that knows LeBron, guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna try to make a huge announcement about it and try to make the entire year make it about himself. Like everything is gonna be freaking expensive as crap to be able to see him his last year. They're gonna try to.
For sure, those ticket prices are going up.
They're gonna try to market the crap out of it. They're gonna have commercials. They're gonna have all types of mobility and all that stuff. They're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff ready for this man. So of course, he is 41. He's like 41, 42 years old, and this is gonna be his 23rd season. And I know his birthday's in December 30th, so he's gonna be about 41, 42. So he's already an uncharted era of not only playing basketball but playing it in such a extreme high level at his age and the type of mileage that he has on his body already. So guess what? We're going the Luka way. We're going to try to have LeBron to maybe kind of breed him the best way he can for his last season that he's going to be with him. I'm pretty sure he's already telling him about nourishment and the way how you take care of your body, because Luka would drink a beer after whatever.
He definitely, I've seen him drinking beer before.
So you already know you can't do that. Yeah. Then if you wanted to play long, like he's young, he's really young. So most of the time, young star players don't care about their health as much as they should because they already can't be guarded. Everybody says that Luka is fat. Everybody says he's overweight, right? But who can stop him?
He don't play like that. I mean, he plays just like he's in tip-top condition to me.
Nobody can stop him, just like James Harden. Everybody say James Harden is an overweight player, but guess what? When he was with the Rockets, nobody could not stop him. So you gonna tell me I'm overweight, right? But guess what? Can you even stop me? No, you can't. Shaq was never in peak condition, especially when he was with the Lakers. He was never in peak condition, but guess what? You could not stop me. So what can you tell me? What can you tell me? You're in better shape than me, right? But you can't even guard me.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
That's why Kobe used to always think that Shaq could have been even more dominant if he would have kept himself in shape, because he was carrying that extra added pounds, but he was still dominant. And Kobe felt like, wow, man, if this guy's this good carrying those extra load, he could be even better if he loses.
Imagine he put in the type of work that I do. Yeah. If he put the type of work I do, man, he's averaging 40.
Yeah, he was not very good at free throw. His free throw average really was bad. You know,
all you gotta do is hike Shaq, put him on the line.
Exactly. Jack. That's what. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So overall, with the NBA, with these astronomical Supermax deals, I just only think that it's going to get more elevated, more higher. Players are going to get even more richer. They're going to have to expand their salary cap because they probably already exceeded the one they have now, right?
They got all these contracts with all these streaming apps. That helps too.
Yeah, it does.
They got all these contracts. Contracts everywhere. Contracts is everywhere. So guess what? Everybody's gonna be getting paid.
You know, people always complaining about players and their salary now. I've never had an issue with it. I was so gratified when they start in the NIL where the college kids can get money and the high school kids can get money. They never, ever, ever talk about that man in that booth who's cutting his checks and all the money they're making. So think about this, you guys. Player, and it's just like a garbage man. A garbage man is the one that makes that thing go. The guy who's on the back of the truck or the guy who's driving. They make the least amount of money in that organization as a sanitation company. People always talking about them. It's the same thing with basketball. The basketball players are the face of it. The drivers and the guys who ride in the back of that sanitation truck is the face of that sanitation company. They get, and people be, hey man, the guys from garbage. Listen, this is the face of the basketball team. This is the face of the sanitation company. People complain about their money. I'm not ever complaining. I don't care how much money they make because you can go out there. We just got through talking about an injury. You don't hear about that. The owners getting injured. Only thing they're doing is cutting a check and they relaxing with their beer and
Yeah.
buddies, and nobody ever talk about the TV rights money they get and all that stuff. They always focus on what the players are making, and not even that. We go even further when it comes to the jump off. Usually Shay just cut a check for $23 million, and now he's just small potatoes compared to an owner who's a billionaire. You don't hear billionaires getting jammed up with no jump offs, giving them freaking $30 million because they had a bad night.
Hey, you know what? You watch your mouth and leave Shay alone. Shay already grieving about that money coming up out of his pocket like that. I'm telling you. I'm pretty sure Shay is going to have nightmares for years about that money having to leave his pocket, his bank account.
No, but it's not only the money that he lost. It's the money that he lost that was coming to him too. He had a job with ESPN and he had $100 million deal on the table. He lost all of that, bro.
That's the risk you take.
That's just, peanuts comparison to what he lost as a whole. You give away $23 million and then you lose half of your audience on your show and then you lose your job as well. So, man, he got a big hit across the head, man. Man, that was like a hit with a freaking Louisville Slugger.
And then he didn't want to have that in the air about that while his brother was finally getting into the Hall of Fame too. So now even though it was a great accomplishment for his older brother, but the thing is, we still focus on what Shannon got going on in his life. So it's really taking all the flair for him. And I'm pretty sure that was still emotional for him. Like, man, you waited all these years to finally get in this position, and they talk about me and what I'm doing in my bed.
Just like the same week, though. You just think about that, Najee. The same week that his brother getting dunked into the NFL, this is the week that you get fired and your jump off get paid. Same week. And he tried his best to try to get that thing stopped until all the ceremony stuff was over with his brother. And they did it anyway. Mm-hmm. They just dropped it right in his laps, man.
He said, hey, at least wait till after the ceremony, and they weren't going for it. Man. I don't know if it was him or somebody that was within it. Probably, they probably leaked the information. Maybe it wasn't really ESPN. Maybe it was somebody within ESPN or somebody's close to him leaked it because they want to be the first one to say it, like everybody wants to. Just like TMZ, TMZ is better. TMZ is better than anybody when it comes to leaking stuff. They have somebody stationed everywhere in this country.
Yeah, but the firing they could have held off. I mean, all they had to do was just hold it off.
But I'm saying maybe it entirely.
Yeah.
Well,
if it wasn't ESPN, they don't care. If they don't care about nobody's feelings, they want to be the first one to say it.
Yeah. Well, they dogged him out, man, because he was just not himself. He was proud, he was happy, but he would have been jumping for joy. But he was just out of it, man. He had on these dog shades and tears, looked like skid marks coming down his
Well,
face.
he's an emotional guy because he's taken that journey with Sterling and his sister. They've taken that long journey to where they are today, and I could see him getting emotional with that. Personally, I could. When you worked hard to come from where he's come from too. So let me add a little bit of more context to this $100 million contract, and then we'll move on to another topic. It looks like he was negotiating with a podcast platform called The Volume, which is pretty much run and owned by Colin Cowherd. If you've ever watched a Herd on FS1, Colin Cowherd is one of the best digital media announcers in the business. I've always watched him. I've liked him. I thought he's always shot off the hip. He's shot right down the middle. He don't go too far left. He don't go too far right. And I think Shannon signed with his platform initially when he left.
Anybody.
Yeah. And they were trying to renegotiate a contract where this was going to be one of the richest contracts for Club Shay Shay to be on Colin Cowherd's, podcast. And, it's still up in the air. We haven't heard much on it, but the rumors and everybody pretty much knows that deal is pretty much dead in the water as far as I could see it, unless Colin Cowherd is just going to overlook it and just say, okay, I'll go forward with it, which I don't think so, because he has investors, I'm pretty sure, and they might not want it to happen. You just don't know. Hey, peeps, and welcome to the DC Stewart Show Podcast. Derek speaking.
Well, Isaah.
And I'm Najee. How you doing?
You're currently tuned in to the DC Stewart Show Podcast, where sports, culture, and real talk collide.
From football breakdown to the very latest in current events.
And exclusive interviews you do not want to miss.
So don't touch that dial. Stay tuned to the DC Stewart Show Podcast, and be sure to crush that subscribe button and hit that like button. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in the next 30 days. So please help us out. Thank you. So Isaah, go ahead and elaborate on what you were saying earlier about that $100 million contract.
Yeah, you mentioned that it was up in the air, and I was just getting ready to give you an analogy when something is up in the air. You know how, people gather with those, whether it's a holiday or it's a death where you had a year's death, and people gather and they have a tendency of going to the store and get some neighborhood balloons with the helium in it.
Right.
That's Shay Shay's $100 million contract. When you let those balloons go, and they just fly away, that's that contract. It's just flew away just like that. It's over. So if you was riding in a 747 jet, you might pass by one of those balloons that had Shay Shay's name on it with the $100 million contract.
You know what? I mean, that like I said before, I mean, it depends, but I agree to a certain element of that I think it's all up and gone as well, because if you think about the bigger picture, the fallout from how it'll look if he get that money, Yeah.
Yeah, but his image, his image is damaged already. So now you mean to tell me that the same audience that he was going to have is going to be there? It's not.
It's not.
He was going to the people was going to benefit because the audience he had and his face was clean. Now that he lost, quite a bit of the people that was there, they're not going to benefit off of. So why would we even think to give you that type of money now?
True.
Yeah,
it was supposed to work for both parties. It's not going to work for both parties.
The thing that we were saying last week when we were talking about Nightcap, Najee, in your absence, the Nightcap's audience is a much different audience than he had when he was on the ESPN, those shows. There's a whole different audience, man. They're talking about different things. They're not even talking, about they talk about current events, but they talk about more so the stuff that's on the street. They're not talking about sports as much as they would talk about it on ESPN as well. So it's a whole different audience, man. So that's what I think, and I do think that nightcap show will be okay. I know he's gonna get a hit a little bit, but it's not gonna be the same at all. So they're not gonna offer him $100 million contract with half his audience gone. Yeah.
Has it been proven that he's lost audience though?
He still have to gain his confidence back a little bit now. Because if you look at some of his stuff now, he's not as open, he's not as free right now because it's still in the back of his mind.
Yeah.
I mean, losing that type of money too, it'll be in my mind too. That
it's not really proven, but the executive know how it works. They know how it works, and that's when they're not even patient to see. Remember, because we made this reference as well. Remember when Kobe Bryant got in that little ordeal?
I remember that. Sure.
People jumped ship on him, and he lost multiple endorsements. And I think a couple golf club companies, they stayed around. They still honored his contract.
Right.
And he was most gratified and loyal to them because of it, because they didn't leave him. But a lot of them jumped ship, man, because they knew that, okay, he's got this reputation where he's like a womanizer, so to speak. And that's the way he was looking at it. So a lot of people was turned off about it. So it took a hit, with his fan base. So
between that and the women be like, "Oh, you cheated on your wife," and that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and they don't like it. They really don't like it, and they don't want their kids to watch it anymore either because of the things that happen. So whenever you have this type of scrutiny, people have a tendency of turning their back and go the opposite direction because they don't want to be attached to anything negative as this. So I can see why they did it. And DC, you would know, as a corporate office, they got to make decisions like that to walk away from a guy who's going through this type of turmoil.
Absolutely.
In his personal life.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let me ask you a question, and let's get back onto the NBA real quick. And I'm going to start with Najee on this one. The question is this. It looks as though a $2 million Miami Heat jersey heist from a security officer or ex-security officer that used to work for the Miami Heat is allegations say accused of stealing more than $2 million in authentic team jerseys and memorabilia over the span of multiple seasons. The in-depth details from the court hadn't been released yet, but technically we're talking about jerseys and things that was worn in games by some of these star players like LeBron and Wade and all those guys, right? How do you think
that was majority where it came from those years?
Yeah, how did he get access to those jerseys? Was he just had access to the locker room, right?
Yes, yeah, he was a cop. He was a cop at the time, so he had access to everything. He had the keys to everything, and he just went in there and ripped them off, man. Yeah, that's a big story here in Miami. It's a huge story.
I just happened to come across it earlier this morning when I was looking over the news, and I just said to myself, "Oh my God!" I mean, how did he feel like or think he was going to get away with that, Isaiah? Tell me.
Well, just think about that.
Who do you think you're going to sell it at? And think nobody going to say nothing.
Exactly.
Well, one thing about it, he was severely stupid. And I'm going to tell you, he was a complete idiot because he sold that stuff in his own damn name. Stupid, man. He was selling that stuff in his name. And the thing is, he sold it, and then he sold it to people who sold it again.
Sure, because it changed hands more than once after he let go of it, right?
Yeah, and the Miami Heat want that stuff back too, bro. I mean, that's been a big thing down here. The Miami Heat want to recover that stuff.
How do they recover it if it's already been sold?
Well, people who get caught with it going to get jammed because it's going to be difficult.
Because it's stolen merchandise. It's stolen merchandise, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I mean, you trust people in an organization to come around and do their jobs, and somebody come in and they see just the smallest of cracks to be able to do something like that, and then I guess their conscience just or whatever is telling them override their good conscience to say, look, go and do it because you can get rich doing it. If you say he's a cop, he wasn't making that kind of money that those players was making.
When it comes to a big heist about anything, something that's worth a lot of money, and it's something that got high security, the only way you can get through it smoothly is if you work near it or work with it all the time, because you know the in and out about it.
Right.
If it's sloppy, or if it's just completely shown and on, that means then it could be random. It could be just somebody that's looking from the outside. But when it happens smooth, it has to be somebody that works there because they know the in and out of everything about it.
So
when they first
when they finally mention about it, it's because it's already not only been stolen, but it's been sold several times already. That's why nobody knows about it until now. If it was sloppy from somebody from the outside, it would have everybody would have knew that same day.
Yeah,
True.
but Najee, this is something that was really an inside job from somebody who they really trusted, because you're not talking
That's what I'm
about
saying.
some security that's making $12 an hour. You're talking about a sworn law enforcement who had access to everything. And I'm going to find out about this, because I'm going to tell you, the Heat organizations are always inclusive of everybody in there with this tight knit thing. Because remember, when they won championships, the person who swept the floors got a ring. The all the staff got rings. The people who wash sweat off the floor when they fall. Everybody
got a ring.
All of them got
Yeah.
rings. Yes. So I'm wondering if this guy got a ring too. And he may have gotten a ring because whoever was attached to that organization while they were winning, they gave him a ring. It may have not been like the player's ring, but it was a championship ring for that year they won. So I wonder if they gave this nutcase a ring and he still stole from them. So I'm gonna find that out, because I got a couple buddies that worked for them too, and I was glad it wasn't them before they mentioned this guy's name, because I knew a couple of guys who worked, they're sworn officers who worked for the Heat. And I was hoping it was one of them. And God be the glory, it wasn't.
Yes.
It was this
Yes.
dude, I don't even know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's kind of it's interesting to me. It looked like something can be in kind of like a Thomas Crown Affair type of movie or something, where you think the guy thought he was going to get away with it, and there wasn't going to be any tracing or any investigation behind that. And when you steal something that valuable, people are going to be looking for it, and organizations are going to be looking for it. And it's just only a matter of time before they close in on you and catch you, right?
Dude, you just don't know the perks.
What Red Fox said, you big dummy.
You big dummy.
Just think about the perks he was getting by being attached to these folks in this organization, and he was around here stealing, man. Remember how you think about this, and this is when we really paid attention to this with DC years ago, when we used to watch Florida State games, and they would always have the state troopers, right on the side of Bobby Bowden, and he would have the same guy for years and years. The same sworn state trooper used to be by Bobby Bowden's side at football games. No matter where they played, he was right along the side of the head coach of the Florida State Seminoles.
Right.
And here it is. This dude was in the same position where you work for an organization, you fly everywhere with them, you get all the perks of the food and the glamour and the glitz and all
everything,
championships.
Everything.
And this nutcase was stealing in the back end. Man, they need to fry his ass.
Well, they will. And he's probably going to have to pay all that money back that he took. I mean, did he profited off of it if he wants to stay out of jail?
He probably throw that money away. You freaking fool. He probably throw that money away, man.
More than likely. I wouldn't be shocked.
That would be even that'd be even worse.
So that means if you throw the money away, you got to go to the big house and spend some time with Big Brutus. You got two options. You got two options. And since we're on that subject, Najee, I want to get your take on Marcus Morris, which he paid $291K back to two different casinos between the two. And tell me what you think, because he says, fuck Vegas. I mean, I don't think he's going to be going back doing any more gambling, correct?
I mean, yeah. Now you lose that type of money, of course. He gonna feel like that because he's already made quite a few bad decisions already. As you know, as a veteran player, he should know better than that by now, man. That's the stuff like that. Is when you like Ja Morant, Zion age, 24, 25 years old,
right?
You know, when you just doing stupid stuff. But when you're in your mid 30s, late 30s, you shouldn't be doing nothing stupid like that no more, man. Because you are not. I mean, 25, 26 is you're a man, but when you're in your mid to late 30s, you a grown man. Like you should know, but you really have no excuse to be doing stupid stuff like that. Like you
exactly
know what's going on. When you're in a brick of 40, bro, you should know better, man. Come on, man.
Exactly.
I mean, mind you, he's still an active. Not only he's still an active player, but he was on ESPN also with Shannon and Stephen A. He wasn't on there regularly, but he will be on there from time to time. It seems like everybody on ESPN just making bad decisions at this point.
Yeah, ESPN's got their hands full trying to fill in, and that leads me to this one last one is Ocho Cinco. Me and Isaah had a conversation about that, Najee, and basically I want to get your side of it. What do you think about if there's rumors, the truth to rumors that Ocho is being pursued to take Shannon's place on First Take? Do you think he should take the position, split the money with Shay, or should he not take the position? What's your take on it?
He should take it. I mean, it ain't like Shannon did nothing. It ain't like ESPN did something to Shannon that Shannon didn't do to himself. Like if they would have backdoored him, did him dirty, I would probably feel you on that. But Shannon did this to himself. People gave him warnings. Kat gave him warnings. Monique gave him warnings. People gave him warnings. Shannon will be like on anything Shannon talks about when it comes to a topic, just like how we're talking about. He will tell you what's not a smart move to do, and he knows he didn't do a smart move. He know he was given all types of warnings. Chill, like bro, you're an older guy or whatever the situation is. They gave him all types of warnings and just bro, look out for yourself, be better than what you're doing, and he still did it. He still did what he wanted to do. He still scratched that itch he had. So if you're gonna give your homeboy a job and they're gonna give him the same type of, I doubt they're gonna give him the type of money that he was making. But by giving his position, he want Ocho to do good. Like a lot of times they talk about each other. They want each other to strive.
They want each other to thrive, just like exactly. We think about each other here, right?
Because when I did something stupid, I shouldn't stop your blessings. No. They have that type of relationship that, he'll be happy for him. Now I'm pretty sure inside he's gonna be like, damn man, that was my position. That was, whatever. But he's gonna be happy for his brother though.
You think he'll be happy for him?
Let me pose this to you, Najee, because me and DC discussed this in your absence. And do you think how they did this was malicious? Think about the fact that he wanted these guys to hold off until the Monday to say that he was fired and he was terminated, and they wouldn't wait until the ceremony for Sterling Sharpe, which is his brother, was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Do you think it was malicious for them to go ahead and do it any old way, or they should have waited? It was disrespectful to not let him honor his brother before they dropped the load on him that he was being terminated? Do you think that was a malicious gesture for them to do that to him?
Okay, so what I'm going to say about that is it was a request. It's not like ESPN owed him anything or he owed ESPN anything. It was just a request. Just because I didn't want to honor your request don't mean that it was malicious. It's like, bro, we our own business. That you was just a part timer anyway. We're not gonna. If they're gonna do what they feel, that's any business. That's any business. Just like, for example, when we up here when we had a situation where deputies did certain things that they didn't, and they wanted to try to keep it under wraps. As a matter of fact, forget all that. we have our commissioner in Fort Pierce. He's got in trouble for sending news to a minor, and you think he wanted to keep that on the wraps? No, he did not. So guess what? They still leak the stuff and tell the whole city, the whole county of what the situation is. Because I'm pretty sure as a politician that you don't want that type of news to come out. There's no way you want that type of news. It's bro. It's what it is. It's what it is. People want to be the first to say anything. Because guess what? When you're the first person to say it, it looks good on you. You get your views. You get your notoriety. You get everything that's going on for you. Anything that's always been media. That's always been the press. They want to be the first to drop something. Because guess what? Now you're the top notch person, and it can elevate you. Oh, bro. It can elevate your brand.
Yeah, it can. And the biggest thing is there is validity to what both of you just said about, if Shay more than likely would just tell him to go ahead and take it, that could be a potential possibility. If they offer it to you, I don't have no issue with it. But then again, deep down inside, he might take issue with it. It's just different when you have your road dog going on to a show that you've commanded, for a certain amount of time, and you had all that popularity and stuff like Shannon did. It's just not, it's not going to be a good feeling for him, I'm pretty sure, deep down inside. But I was telling Isaah as well that I just think it was Stephen A. Smith that was behind it. And even if he was, Stephen A. has every right to ask him to come on there. I mean, it's his show. It's his platform. So, I mean, there's nothing to be upset against Stephen A. Smith about that, I don't think. I just think Stephen A. Smith wants to keep Ocho and Shay Shay's, following. They just want to keep them coming on to First Take. And once again, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, But I think they'll both survive it.
I really would want to see how that will pan out, DC. In just a discussion between Ocho and Shay Shay to see what kind of really friendship that they have. Because I'm gonna tell you flat out, you and I, when we discussed this last week, we was like almost paired on the way we felt about it. Najee has brought a different dynamic to it with his intake because you and I looked at it like a slap in the face where you want this guy's audience to fire him, and all you had to do was suspend him for a while and keep him on. But to go ahead and go for the juggler and get rid of him, and then backdoor is dude in there who's on the show with him, that to me, and I'm going to tell you right now, with feelings and emotions from people who has pride, I don't know how that'll really work out unless their friendship is airtight and you really bless that. Shay Shay has to bless it. And if he don't bless it, it ain't gonna sit right, man. I'm gonna tell you that flat out. That's just human nature. They're not gonna be total in agreement with it, man. Because if you just can me and I'm feeling bad and torn about it, and then you hire my road dog who I brought in to my show and this career, and now you're going to use him and take him away from me, because eventually they might give him a schedule where it coincides with what you're doing on Nightcap. What you do then?
It could, and it could become a permanent
thing.
Yes. It could become a permanent schedule where, or should I say, one of those schedules that float that he won't be there constantly, and that could potentially cause those type of issues. That's something to think about.
Yeah. You're back on, D.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something definitely to think about, because if you really look deeply into it, that's going to be interesting to see.
No.
All right. So
we'll see the outcome of that in the chat.
Exactly.
The real chat about it, because it really makes you have a situation where you really gotta be close to your partner, man. Because openly, you and I, DC, we can discuss this thing wide open and come out with a outcome that both of us will be able to agree and be sincere about it, and
True.
not feel this kind of way after the decisions that we made. Because I just really would want to sit down with you. If some, in the case of something like that happened to us, I would sit down with you and iron this thing out, man. Because
Absolutely.
after that
Absolutely.
meeting, there will be no freaking
Oh, I'm pretty sure they spoke about it. It's not like he gonna just
Absolutely.
completely just take the job and don't say nothing.
That's a
Yeah,
good
I'm
point.
talking about
And I'm pretty
Pretty
sure
sure he
that
spoke
that
about it.
discussion
I
is
mean,
crossed.
just like you said, he helped them get in. So you mean to tell him, he'll be like, bro, I know I got you in, but yeah, man, don't take that dog. Don't take my job. Don't take my job from me. He's
Well,
yeah, but
already in.
that's what
It's
we're
not like
saying.
it's not like they
You,
called him and be like, you know what, we want to hire you. No, he was kind of already in already. So you mean to tell me
yeah,
because
he was
his
already in, but Najee, if they would listen to what you're saying, he was already in, but they didn't offer him the job that they're offering now. Dude
Mhm.
is a double-edged sword, man. It's a double-edged sword. You were already in, you knew everybody, but they didn't give you a damn thing until this thing dropped in Shay Shay's lap. Now all of a sudden we want you to come on over here. I mean, you
It's
playing
vacancy.
bananas with the guy. You got your foot on the banana peel with the dude. You know, I would rather for a person to say, "Okay, you come on in." Now you done jam my buddy. Now you come in. It's almost like a slap in the back, man. A snap in the back with a razor. You know, I just, man, I really would want to know the severity of it and see how deep this thing flows.
absolutely.
Man,
Absolutely. So we're on. Andy Brown's got one more for us, and then we're gonna wrap. But Andy Brown had some concern about actor Faison Love. Faison Love, he played Big Worm in the Friday movies. I mean, he was the original Big Worm, and especially that first Friday, I believe. I need to start out with
yeah, that was
That
Najee.
was the first one.
Yeah, it looks like he got into an argument at a hotel in San Diego. I guess he booked online. He got there. I guess
Hmm.
the booking, somehow there was some miscommunication, somehow, some way. And it looks as though he lost his temper with the person that he was talking with, technically the host who accepts guests behind the counter. And it looks like Faison Love snatched, according to the allegations, he snatched a credit card reader and threw it at the girl. Now, this is all allegations. Is Faison Love? I mean, what's wrong with that brother, man? I mean, what's up with that brother? I mean, come on. I mean, if you gotta
That boy got.
I mean, I don't understand it. Give me an idea what's up with that brother, man.
Well, like you said, there's allegations, so it may be not the entirely of what you're saying. But it's okay. So I'm gonna give you three ways out of this. It might be it. So it's allegations. So it might have not happened. Cool. Two, that boy got a terrible freaking temper because mind you,
yeah.
even if she was being even if she was being a problem with him, I mean to snatch it out and throw it is crazy. Or three, he really letting this celebrity thing get a hold of him because you know how some celebrities they feel like they're almost not human. Like you gonna make this other thing happen for me. He was like, no, I'm sorry, we're booked. What you mean we're booked? You gonna get me a room? How can I give you a room that's not available? So it could be one of those three. It could be one of those three. It might not even really happen. They might have over exaggerated what happened. But
Well,
if
I'm looking at it
all this
like
stuff really
this.
did happen, then man, it's tripping.
If it is true, there are other ways that he could have asked for management. He could have let's say, look, go get your manager. I want to talk to a manager because I got to get this squared away. I need to be in a room, and I booked this room, and this is what I'm expecting from this hotel. I mean, this is like the second event that I've seen him with because he had an event in Ohio, and I believe it was Columbus, Ohio, with the rent a car employee. I
Oh.
guess he lost his cool with that guy too, and they scuffled. They were going around and around. He threw that guy like it was a rag doll, and each time this type of thing happens with Faison Love, he has to spend money. He has to come out of his pocket. People sue him. I mean,
he ain't that rich now. He don't need to be doing that.
Exactly.
He ain't that rich.
So Jerome, or should I say, my biggest thing is with him is the biggest problem is his temper, man. It's his temper. Isaiah, tell me, you think he's trying to be a true G out on the streets? I mean, a real G, should I say?
I think he's a J instead of a G, and the J stand for jackass. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, let me tell you something, man. Listen to me, bro. He gonna be in some serious trouble, man. Because if he snatched that thing, he's gonna get charged with vandalism first of all because he damaged the property.
True.
And then if he struck that girl, it's gonna be an assault on top of it.
It's gonna be assault, aggravated battery.
Everything's gonna go down the pike on this guy, man, and it's just so unfortunate when you have a celebrity who think they're beyond, beyond the law and stuff like that. I've had issues like that at hotels where they were.
I have too.
And maybe I think that they were saving rooms for somebody else, or either they jumped the price higher. Man, I would just go down the street, politely get my luggage and get in the car and go down the street.
And give them a bad review. Write them a bad review.
Yeah, because the customer service you think will stink, and then nobody want a bad review as well. But I would take my anger elsewhere, man. I would just go sit in the car and relax, and then go down to the street and get another hotel. If I got to spend another $50, it's me. It's me gathering my own self and my temperament, man, because now he's going to have to take anger management class. He's going to be on probation if he's not on probation for the other stuff.
Court,
time for something else. I think this dude is in some serious trouble because of this, man, and he just don't know how to harness his emotions when it comes to stuff like this because he's always getting in trouble with travel. When he's traveling,
that's true. That is a consistency.
It's crazy.
It's just, I guess traveling is stressful for Faison Love, right?
Oh my God,
So it looks as though the woman made allegations that he looked directly at her. He took the reader, he hurled it at her. She sought medical attention hours after the incident and was diagnosed with a concussion. She said she continues to suffer lingering effects, including sensitivity to light. However, Love's attorney said that the credibility of the testimony pointing to inconsistencies between the woman's court account and the statements she's made to police and the 911 dispatcher the night of the incident. The body cam footage from the San Diego police was played to highlight the discrepancy. So there could be a small window that he might have a minuscule small window to slide out of this, which I don't think he will. I agree with Isaiah that he's not going to walk away scot-free with this one. Nah. Especially with hurling, if it's allegedly true and he took that credit card reader and snatched it off and threw it in, that's a problem in itself. Beside the woman having this problem with a concussion, he's got two issues. He's got the credit card reader issue, and he's got the issue with the woman, and he's going to have to settle with this woman. You're talking about Shay settling with his ex-girlfriend. He's going to have to settle for this case to even.
He got nowhere near the money Shay got.
Right.
You ain't got that type of money at all.
He don't have that type of money, I don't think. I haven't looked into it to see what his net worth was worth, but I don't think his.
Going to up the ante on this thing, DC, is the mere fact that that girl probably going to sue the hotel, and the hotel going to press charges on him.
Oh, no doubt about it. That's the exact way it's going to work, I think. Yeah. So we wish Faison Love well, bruh. Control your temper, man. It ain't even worth all of this extra added aggression, or should I say just stress. I'll rephrase it and say stress, instead of aggression. If you're traveling and you're stressed out from traveling, don't let these people get under your skin. If they can't help you, they can't help you. You go somewhere else and just deal with it that way, or you ask to speak with management. I would rather see you speak with management than to have a one-on-one with this person out in the lobby like that.
DC, let me ask you guys that you and Najee, where was his publicist, man? Why is he doing all of this lyric work? I'm about to believe Najee. He must not have that much money because most of the time, celebrities not booking these rooms, man. They're not doing this stuff. They're not interacting.
Nope, they're not doing it themselves at all. Nope. They just go to the room and that's it.
That's it. They give you the key and you walk right through the staff and go right in. You don't interact with these people, man. You go right in the hotel and get in the bed.
And when he was renting that car, it looked like he did that on a booking itself as well, because he went directly one-on-one with the guy at the counter. If you look at the video footage from that last incident in Ohio, I mean, he literally threw the guy like it looked like something out of a Bond movie where James Bond was getting tossed around like a rag doll fighting one of them guys in the movie, to me.
That dude ain't got no business interacting with nobody, man. From the rental car staff or the hotel. His staff's supposed to be doing that. His publicist's supposed to handle all that stuff for him. He ain't got no business making no contact with these folks, man. And that's probably what's stressful about it. He's running down low on cash and he's got to handle things himself and all of that. And it's not going well. He need to go get in a movie and still tighten up his budget where he can start paying people where he don't have to go through this, man, because now this getting ready to cost him something, man. This is going to cost him court time going back and forth, lawyer fees.
He's going to have to settle with that girl, too, that woman. He's going to have to settle to try to even to try to soften the blow that's coming from the criminal side of it. She's going on the civil side of it. And like you say, she's probably going to sue the hotel for not protecting her better. I mean, because if you're an employee of any organization, you're expected to be protected while you're on that premises of that organization. So the hotel's got much more money than Faison Love has. I mean, so she gonna probably go after the hotel on top of going after him as well.
The hotel yet, man. Depends what kind of hotel he at, because if he at a motel.
Well, if he got the money that he's supposed to have, he shouldn't be at a motel. But yeah,
I don't think it was one of those 5-star hotels. I think it was one of them hotels kind of right in the middle, you know. And that's just my guess.
Right in the middle got millions. Right in the middle got millions. So that's fine.
Yeah, that might be one of those independent hotel with a mom and pop hotel where you pay by the hour.
Well, it's over there. And it's over there.
Well, you never know how your fate is going to change financially. And I'm speaking on behalf of that woman that, look, she came to work that day. She didn't come to work that day to have to deal with Faison Love. And to me, his type of behavior, and me and Isaah had some conversation about this morning. It kind of reminds me of somebody that don't have much. That's how they behave, right? I mean, they behave like that because if you got money and you have resources to be able to do something else, you usually don't sweat it. You'll be mad, of course. People's temperament is going to be the same. It's just, look, if the manager can't get me what I want, I'm gonna just go and I'm gonna just give you guys a real bad review, and I'm gonna make sure it sticks right out on the page so somebody else see it, that they won't want to stay at your hotel. That's how you deal with people like that. That's how you deal with hotels like that, you know? So anyway, Annie Brown has given us some good topics today, man. We've had some really interesting conversation today. And it's a Friday. I know you guys have a lot planned this weekend. I have some things planned this weekend. And we're going to do this thing again next week as well. We want you, the viewer, keep hitting them likes. And please subscribe and give us those thumbs up. Drop those comments. We had a ton of comments yesterday on YouTube where we were talking, going back and forth with people on even videos we did last year. Up until like now. So people are going back and they're looking at our past content and they're commenting on some of that as well. So we're really ecstatic about that. Isaah, I'm going to go ahead and have you close this thing out, and we'll go from there.
Listen, everybody, we adore the fact that you're spending time with us, and I love it to death. It's beautiful. Football season is coming up. You guys watch a lot of it because we're going to be covering it, and so you'll know what we're talking about. But anyway, tell your friends, your family, your coworkers, all of them that we're on, and tell them that you love them, because you don't know when you may not get that chance again. But other than that, have a pleasant week. Enjoy your weekend, and you'll be in touch with us soon. Have a pleasant week.
Absolutely. How about you, Najee?
Peace and blessings, God. Love God, because He's definitely gonna love you. Basically, what Isaah said, love your family, friends, spouse, if you have one, and because every day somebody losing somebody to anything. So and on the other hand of that, most of the kids are going back to school Monday. So guess what?
That's right.
So watch out. Not only watch out for them, parents. Now you can finally get rid of these little bad kids, send them off to school, and make sure that, and you gonna actually have some time to yourself. They don't have to worry about raiding your kitchen. You don't have to worry about nothing. But the thing is, also what these schools got to kind of really take security on a little bit more serious, because a lot of kids they're not kids no more when it comes to school. They're bringing in vapes, weapons. They threatening teachers too. Like I feel like the school system have to do better when it comes to them, because they're not focused on them. They just coming in, they try to make their check and go home.
Yeah, that's not acceptable. That is not acceptable. You have to pay better attention to things that's going on around the school, in the school systems, and they need to protect these kids as best they can.
That starts at home, guys.
Absolutely.
With parents.
Absolutely.
You ain't worry about nobody taking care of your kids. You got to do it.
You got to take care of your kids and teach them what's right and what's wrong.
Outside that door, they'll be okay.
Exactly.
That's how you handle that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll close this show out. I'm your host, Derek Stewart, again, along with my kinfolk, Isaah and Najee. We had an extravagant day today, and we're going to do it again and again and again and again. So we thank you for joining the DC Stewart Show podcast, and please come back to see us soon. Take care of yourself before you take care of others, and take the time out to help one person. Every day you go out, if a person needs help, just try to help one person. Take care of yourself. Peace, love, and prosperity. Take care.
You've reached the end of another episode of the DC Stewart Sports Talk Podcast. Be sure to connect with us at Facebook and Twitter.com. Your voice is important, so head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. Catch our next episode.